What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. Second time that I am trying to record this video. I have been fighting with the software on this camera between the audio syncing issues, the lag. Hopefully, I'm getting some of that resolved. Hopefully, you can hear me without having to turn your volume all the way up on YouTube. I'm not sure what's going on. It seems like every time the software updates on this camera, I have a plethora of problems that I have to work through to get it back going. At some point, I just need to break down, buy a new webcam, possibly a mic, and just go on about that way. And hopefully, I won't have to fight with this stuff anymore. Before I get into this video, kind of highlighting some stuff that I picked up from the Black Line Records spring sale, I do have to mention. I mean, with it being all in the news today, I do have to at least mention and give my condolences. We found out today that Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia murder passed away. Very tragic circumstances, very shocking, especially with the with the reports that have been coming out as far as the manner um, that he passed away. I'm not going to do a standalone video for that. That's never really been my style here on the channel. I don't want to come off as capitalizing on a tragedy or that type thing. But I do want to offer my condolences to his bandmates, to his loved ones. Trevor was a great guy too. I know most of us in this community have had some sort of interaction with Trevor at some point. I mean, even I have, even just being the little small YouTube channel that I have. Um, I followed him on Bandcamp. I followed him on Instagram up until very recently. I found a ton of new music just from his recommendations. Black Dahlia Murder albums are definitely in my collection as well, but not just the music that he made and the knowledge that he had. Just you never heard a bad thing about him. He was always a very nice, almost jovial guy, and just the knowledge that he put out there and the promotion that he did for the things that he loved. His legacy is going to live on, and I definitely think that he will be missed. So I definitely want to just give my condolences and say rest in peace, Trevor. Moving on, I guess, to a little happier, a little better uh, subject. Black Line Records, they are a label that has supported this channel pretty much from the very get go. They were a very new record label when I started this channel. It has been exciting to watch them grow. Um, Oliver over there at Black Line has been a huge supporter of this channel in the past. As their label was growing, he offered up some stuff to me to do reviews with, gave me stuff to do giveaways with, and I am eternally grateful. And I think some of the level of growth that my channel has had has definitely been hand in hand with some of the things that labels and people like Oliver have done to help me grow along the way. So I am thankful for that. He has a spring sale going on his Bandcamp. I guess Black Line Records is growing. They're expanding their operation, and they've got some distribution through some major labels here in the States, as far as other places in the world. Um, as far as Bandcamp goes, you can get on there and use the code SPRING50 when purchasing from Black Line Records and receive, I think it's 50 or 55% off of your purchase. So I got a steal on the albums that I'm going to show. Even though the stuff is shipping here from Sweden, the shipping charges are not what you would think they would be with it being international mail. I don't know how he's making money, but Oliver, you're doing a killer job, and I appreciate what you're doing over there with Black Line Records. He did throw a compilation in for me as a little freebie. This is the second one of these compilations that he's done through the label. This one is entitled Afterlife and Darkness Volume 2. I do have Afterlife and Darkness Volume 1 in the collection as well, so I'm glad to have this one to add on the shelf. There are two discs in this, and it highlights pretty much. It's almost like a best of some of the arsenal of bands that he has under his belt in the label right now. Godhead Machinery is on here. They are a band that you will see me highlight here in just a moment. Vesperian Sorrow, black metal out of Texas. I love those guys. They're on here. Marrowfields, Ildaruni, who was on my end of the year list. There's just a ton of stuff on here. So a lot of bands that I've mentioned and highlighted on the channel before. So this is a pretty nice little compilation. I like compilations to play in the car and that type of stuff. So very glad to have that one in the collection now. So thank you, Oliver, for sending that one along. Now I will show you the 5 CDs that I made in this particular purchase. A lot of these have been out maybe for just a little bit, but they are definitely plugging some holes that I had in the collection. With the 50% off, I got a lot of these. He already had a sale going, and then the 50% off on top of that, I got a lot of these for just a couple bucks. So I couldn't pass that deal up. The first one, a band that I just talked about, this is Godhead Machinery. They are black metal out of Sweden. This is their 2021 EP entitled Masquerade Among Gods. It's only 4 tracks. One of the tracks on here is an instrumental. And even though it's only about 20 minutes long, it successfully does what any EP release is supposed to do. It got me excited for the full length. They put out a full length last year as well. It came out around November. I do have that one in the collection. It was entitled Monotheistic Enslavement. I had listened to this EP on a stream before that full length was ever released. I don't know if they had announced that full length or not. I knew they had said it was on the way when I first listened to the stream of this EP, and it just got me excited. It made me want to hear what these guys were doing moving forward. They are a very accessible black metal band. As far as extreme music goes, it can be very off-putting to some people that just aren't into the more extreme side of things. I'm a little hesitant to say that they are a gateway black metal band, because that will turn some black metal fans off just hearing that. They don't delve into that melodic black metal area of black metal, but I don't know. It's just they feel accessible. I just, something about them seems to me that they would appeal to people who aren't particularly into a more extreme style. Despite those elements being in this, I could see people, kind of a bridge band, I guess you could say. But it's just great stuff here. One of these tracks, I believe it was track 2, entitled Upon His Deceitful Star, actually made it onto that full length that came out last year. I may have highlighted the full length in a prior episode of 7 Deadly Spins. I can't remember if I did or not. If not, I may have to go back and highlight it in a video moving forward. But Godhead Machinery, killer black metal out of Sweden. Definitely check them out. As always, all of this stuff is going to be in the description. So if I butcher a title or you don't understand what I say, just check the description. It will all be down there for you guys. Next up, this is a band out of Philadelphia here in the U.S. That's another reason I like Black Line Records. They kind of highlight bands from all over the globe. I think each of these bands that I'm going to show come from a different area of the world. So we went from Sweden. Now we have a band out of Philadelphia here in the U.S. This is a band that the first time that I heard this band, I really didn't care for much. They came off to me as almost just run-of-the-mill metalcore, and it's been nice to see the progression that this band has gone through over the years. This band is I Am the Trireme. I don't even know if they're going by that moniker anymore. I think they may just be going by the initials IATT. I think they dropped the I Am the Trireme as they were kind of moving away from that metalcore sound. And now they have a very progressive melodeath, I guess blackened melodeath sound. It is so progressive that this album could almost lean itself into just straight prog territory. I feel like it's a little heavier than most people would label just straight progressive metal, but the progressive elements are definitely there. There are atmospherics that are sprinkled into this as well. It is a very interesting listen. It definitely got me excited for their new full length. They have an album coming out at the end of this month. I think it's coming out on the 27th of May, entitled Magnum Opus. So I am excited to hear that one. This one, I don't know if I said the name or not, is Nomenclature. This was their second full length, and it's been a bit of a wild ride just to see how far that they've come from where they started. I'm just the maturity that is kind of showing through their releases over time. You can kind of see the step forwards going, the steps just moving forward into a more pronounced and just more progressive and more intelligent output. I have an EP, an early EP of theirs. It was called Unearthly or something along those lines, and that was kind of the first step for me in their discography where they kind of went into that more blackened territory, and that's the one that kind of perked my ears up, and I was like, hey, this band is on to something here, and I like the way that they're going forward. I'm excited to hear that new full length that they have coming, and I think there's some great things in store for that project. Next up, we have some, I guess, harmonious, melodic death doom out of Italy. I told you that we have stuff from all over. This is Tethra with Empire of the Void. This came out back in 2020. It came out in around March or April of 2020. I know that the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, was just getting into full swing about the time that this album hit my ears, and it was kind of a perfect sound for the way of the world. Then it just mournful, melancholic, melodic death doom, and I absolutely love this release. I had a free download code that I had been listening to for so long. When I saw that sale was going, I was like, the time is here. I have to jump on this, grab a physical copy. I put it off long enough. It's 10 tracks, right at an hour long. Nothing overstays its welcome. When an album hits that hour point, sometimes there are what almost feels like filler tracks. For me, there's no filler on this. They even do a David Bowie cover that's slap dab in the middle of this album. They do a cover of Space Oddity, and it fits in perfectly with just the movement that this album puts forth. It's their third full length. I'm excited to see where this band goes forward from this as well. This was my introduction to Tethra, with it being their third full length. So I have some backtracking to do because I still haven't checked out their prior material. But this was, for me, like just COVID times, this was almost a perfect soundtrack for that. So good stuff there from Tethra. Next up, we have a one-man band out of Denmark. This is Mother of All with Age of the Solipsist. Solipsist. Probably butchered that. I apologize. This is a project put together by Martin Homan. He did some work with some other bands. I think AFSCI. He did some live work with Mirkur. I think he did some live musicianship with as well. On this, he does it all, and this is touted as a melodic death metal release. I have trouble calling this a mellow death release. I know I am no expert in heavy metal genres. If you follow this channel, you know that I miss genre label stuff all of the time. But I don't get a ton of death metal from this. There are moments. There are some early In Flames harmonies, melodies going on this. There are almost at the gates reminiscent vibes going on in this as well. But for the most part, this feels almost like a progressive thrash album to me. I guess the roots of death metal are kind of rooted in thrash, so I mean, I guess that could go hand in hand, but it almost just feels like a progressive technical thrash album most of the time. There are some mellow death elements here and there. This was a blind buy. At first, I was a little taken aback because when I saw the reviews and I saw what it was being touted as, I was expecting just some, I guess, almost run-of-the-mill mellow death, and that's not what I got. And I think I like it better now just because it is something different than what I was expecting. I love that artwork on this as well. So if you're into kind of thrashy death metal, especially very melodic style, a little bit of technicality going on, definitely check this one out. I think you guys will dig this one as well. And then the last one, this was another blind buy. I just picked this one up because the price point on it was worth it, and I was kind of intrigued by the cover art. It was just labeled as progressive metal. This is Apotheus with the Far Star. This came out in 2019. I didn't see much. I didn't see like reviews or advertisements or this album floating around anywhere when it came out in 2019, from what I can remember. Um, it's labeled as just progressive metal. This one leans more into the kind of melodic, I guess, a progressive melodic death metal. This is kind of what I was expecting from the previous album, from that Mother of All album. But this has a very spacey vibe going on at times. There are atmospherics buried in this as well. Good stuff here out of Portugal. So yeah, every album that I showed was from a band from a different part of the world in this. So Oliver has a pretty extensive and wide array of bands there under his belt. But just kind of progressive, mellow death, atmospheric death going on in this. I guess just atmospheric progressive metal at times. 11 tracks, 53 minutes. The atmospherics do play a role in that runtime. This is one that I definitely want to spend some more time with. I've only listened to it a couple times. I was very intrigued with the listens that I've given it, and I'm just looking forward to having some time to myself to just spend a little bit more time with this. But all in all, I was very pleased with the 5 CDs that I got in the sale, plus the little bonus compilation that I got. I will put the discount code in the description as well. That way, if you head over to the Black Line Records Bandcamp, you see some stuff that you want to pick up, you can use that Spring 50 discount code. It works for the new releases as well, like the new I Am the Trireme album that's coming out. I used it on a pre-order. I used the code for that, and like the album was $4. A brand new album that's just coming out was like $4 plus shipping. I did it with the Cavian, the new release that came out from them as well. So that label has a killer sale going on. Do not miss out on that. I mean, 50% off. You're not going to get a better deal than that anywhere. That's all I've got for this video. I hope the audio issues are fixed. I hope the audio sync issues are fixed. It is very annoying for me I just have to do it trial and error to get it fixed. But hopefully we're getting there and getting that taken care of. I promised you guys that this video would not be Paragon Records or Metalhead Box related. I may get 1 or 2 more videos out before the next Metalhead Box gets here, so fingers crossed that I have a little bit more of a varied output coming on the channel, so it's not just the same things over and over and over. I have a new idea for a series that I want to get sparked up. There's going to be videos on Fridays. Hopefully I can get on the ball and start getting those recorded within the next week or 2. That's all I've got for today. Stay classy, stay metal. I promise I'm going to try to get back on these CD collection videos as well. I will see you guys very soon. I promise.